Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Natan Vrahosky, your host with the most. Today on the Frequency of Abundance group, and we are rocking shows 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Welcome to Motivational Mondays. Excitement, excitement. On the weekends, I let you sleep in so you can come at 1 in the afternoon for a soaring Sunday or a successful Saturday. So come, have some fun, take a look around. Now, since we are talking Frequency of Abundance group, I will pop that up. Captivating Talk 7 days a week. Today, oh man, we're going to go deep. We're going to go into some very, very cool. This is the science behind habit formation today. So we're going to get technical. We're going to get scientific. We're going to learn the science of how it's made and why these habits are formed, how to replace the bad ones with good ones. And as always, tons of actionable tips for you, for family, for friends, for loved ones. If you're a coach, healer, therapist professionally, for you to use with your clients and enjoy yourself that way. Now, if you're new and you haven't seen us before, we're in season 2, so come on back, join us over here. Here, I'll put that in the chat as well, so you'll have contact information. There you go. Know that we are on LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn. Just simply type in The Frequency of Abundance. Click groups, ba-da-boop-a-doo, you're there. Free group, so you can binge watch season 1. We're halfway through season 2. Really, really get to come in, and I want you to get a little more involved if you can. If you're okay with that, I invite you to like, comment, share. I invite you to bring a friend. I invite you to post something in the chat, to ask a question, to get involved. I invite you to get more active. That's the invitation. Now, on top of that, you've got access to reach out to us on the free group on LinkedIn. There's a small private paid community. It's tens of dollars a month, but it gives you a chance to network. It gives you a chance to grow, get support, have coaching, group work, so many fun ways that the tide raises all boats. So reach out to me if you want to be more involved. Reach out to me if you really want to get more involved and you want to take a chance and go in and get yourself on one of my shows and get spotlighted and get featured so that we can bring what you're working with out to the world and see if it can help others the way that we hope these talks help others. Now, going in deeper, if you understand that the Frequency of Abundance group, it's proudly being presented by Allura Creative Agency. I'm blessed enough to be the founder there. My background, I've been an elite energy coach for about 30 years, had about 15,000 people go through my hands, starting with Olympians, Cirque du Soleil acrobats, national sports teams, wrote a couple bestsellers, and then COVID hit. And I wanted to make sure that nobody else felt as horrible as I felt coming online. The tech made me feel silly and dumb. The marketing made me feel slow and useless. So I just wanted a way to help those that are doing some good really blow a dog whistle to their target audience. That's why for us, we hunt whales. So if your target clients are the highest of the high, the executives, the leaders, the C-suite, the professionals, the founders, the owners, reach out to me. That's who we go hunting for. We might be able to help. Now today, let's get deep. Let's get technical. Let's get 100% on where it is that we're coming from when we say, what could we talk about the science behind habit formation? Where are we coming from? Anybody, show of hands, raise them up here. Anybody remember a time when you couldn't start your day without like 30 minutes of just scrolling on your phone? You know how bad that is, right? So I'm sure if you don't do that anymore, you replaced it. When you shifted that habit into something positive, that's what we're working on today. Exploring how you do the same on a much more conscious, pull the trigger kind of faster level. So we're going to look at, if you've ever felt stuck in a series or a cycle of bad habits and you're wondering, how do you make good ones last? You're in the right place. I think you're going to have some fun in the sun today. So take a look around, pop into the chat, show some love. And let's start with the first segment, the science of habit formation. Let's look at what they call the habit loop. So Charles Duhigg, he's the author of the habit loop. And the central theme is cue, routine, reward. So imagine you're stressed at work. That's your cue. You grab a chocolate bar. That's your routine. And you're doing it to feel better. That's your reward. Understanding this cycle is the first step to changing it. So then if you go, okay, you're magically, again, stressed at work. same cue. Instead of your routine of grabbing a chocolate bar, now you go do 5 push-ups against the wall. Okay, and you're doing that to feel better, which is your reward. So you literally kept the same outcome, kept the same cue, just changed the routine. What a completely different way to go. So this is important that you're recognizing cues in your environment. Look for things like time, place. Look for emotion, and if there was any preceding event, something came from before. There's a reason that habits are hard to break. A lot of people will tell you they're not easy to make. So why would they be easy to break? That's a simple way to look at it. So look at your brain's reliance on the basal ganglia. It's using it to conserve energy. It's automating repeated behaviors. If it sees something that you're consciously focusing on over and over and over again for a certain period of time, and we'll get into that, then it's going to go, wait a minute, let's just automate this. It's a repeated behavior. So it's clearly important. Let's just get through it. Now, there's going to be default behaviors, and that's how habits become so tricky to pull out, because through repetition, you're making them difficult to break. There's a big myth, if you want to do some research insight. So debunking myths like it takes 21 days to form a habit, that's a little oversimplified. There's a lady, Philippa Lally, she did research, suggests it takes about 66 days on average. But it varies person to person and by complexity of the habit. So there's always going to be an extra element, right? Imagine prescribing medicine to somebody and going, well, hold on, this changes person to person, and depending on how complicated, how unwell you're feeling. That would be pretty scary. But that's what it is still. So it's still a very personalized journey. And I'll ask you to think about your habit loop. Cue, reward. What about that routine in the middle? Maybe reach out. Share an example on social, in your community. Reach out on mine. Very cool to hear where you're coming from. Let's look at the next segment. Let's go with replacing the bad habits with good ones and why replacing works better than eliminating. So if you're just trying to just stop a habit, that's going to often backfire due to the brain and its attachment to routine and reward. And so it doesn't like to live in a vacuum. Thus, it will find something to replace, good, bad, or indifferent, but it will not leave it in vacuum mode. So instead of fighting the urge to snack when you're bored, replace it with drinking a glass of water or taking a quick walk. Replace, not eliminate. Let's look at, and I know it's easier said than done, so let's look at some quick techniques for replacement. Aha! Thought you would get none. You're getting some good stuff. Number 1, habit stacking. Build new habits by attaching them to existing routines. So if you're not flossing enough, attach it to obviously brushing your teeth. Pretty simple. Don't just try to do it in a random time of day. It's already a big deal not working. Focus on attaching it to something that is. So after you pour your morning cup of coffee, write down top 3 goals for the day. Now it's a seamless part of your day. At first it might have been, ugh. Now it's quick and easy. You flex that muscle, it gets stronger and stronger over time. Yes. Oh, thank you. We got a wonderful comment. Yes, the thoughts we have, Luke, pay so attention to the good ones. Yeah. Pay attention to the good ones you want more of. I agree. Thank you so much for that. Very, very much so. So when you're stacking new ones, attach them to existing ones, look at environmental design, right? Like alter your surroundings to support the good habits. Remove triggers for bad ones. If the words behind me cause me anxiety, I should probably put a picture up there instead of that gigantic sticker. You got to know what's working for you. So if you're trying to stop eating junk food, maybe don't keep chips in the house. Instead, stock up on all these healthy snacks. Environmental design. And by that I mean you. Design your environment. Look at the 2-minute rule. This is where a lot of people get stuck. So it's going to make starting a habit so easy, it's going to feel almost effortless. If you want to start exercising, begin by just putting on your workout clothes or doing 1 push-up. That's it. It's the 2-minute rule, right? So know that if we're going to be able to pop in and start in less than 2 minutes, we should do it. We should do it immediately. If it'll take less than 2 minutes to start it, heck, if it'll take less than 2 minutes to start and finish it, there's no excuse. If you felt a little bit of indigestion and had gas, it might take you a whole 2 minutes to feel better. So imagine you did, and instead you gave your 2 minutes to this. 2-minute rule. It can be done, and it'll make your habit forming muscle flex effortlessly. So look at replacing any negative self-talk with some daily affirmation. As an example, I remember I had a listener tell me how they replaced their habit of criticizing themselves over and over again, and they started using gratitude practice. And they now have more confidence and positivity every day. And they were surprised by the confidence. They figured, well, yeah, if I replace the negative self-talk with, positive self-talk, okay, the outcome would be positive, no kidding. But they were surprised that also made them confident. Comes with the territory. There's a lot of spin-offs and a lot of cool extras that you get when you're operating in the frequency of abundance. Now, I'll encourage you to identify one bad habit you'd like to replace. Brainstorming what cool new routine, you want to put in its place. So let's say you bite your nails. Okay, that's a bad habit. You want to replace that. What is going to be something that you would choose to replace the next time instead of biting your nails? Maybe go for an apple? Just saying. Give yourself brainstormed ideas. When you brainstorm, no bad ideas. Just focus on the ones that you feel are better and go with that. There we go. Thank you for the comment. I agree. Start with small blocks and build on that. Yeah. Building blocks, right? So, as the name implies. All right. Next segment. Let's go segment 3 as actionable tips. These are going to create the lasting change you're looking for. So number 1, start small. We just talked about building blocks. When you're looking at small, consistent actions, that's going to build momentum. So if your goal is to write a book, I mean literally, if you start by writing just one sentence a day, I'm not even talking a page, one sentence, over time it still grows into a chapter. It'll be the world's longest written book, I hear you, but it's still a book and you still wrote it and it was still doable. It's no excuses. Start small, consistent action. Use it to build momentum. Now, visual cues. Let's look at different reminders for habits, right? So place a water bottle on your desk. Encourage hydration. You know what I mean? Have skipping rope right next to you or your running shoes. Encourage movement. Visual cues. Again, part of environmental design. Really setting up that place for yourself. Look at, like we talked about, community. Look at the role of community, especially if we're looking at accountability and rewards. So through accountability buddies, through a coach, through an online group, through joining the Frequency of Abundance group, through working with people that are in that frequency or can help you realign and retune your frequency. Small, right? Like, find those meaningful little rewards for milestones. Celebrate those small wins. A week of consistency with any habit. You can give yourself a little treat as long as the treat isn't in direct conflict with the habit. So if you're trying to lose weight and then the treat is an all-you-can-eat bonanza kind of buffet, no. You can't put too much back on. Defeated the purpose of the thing. But focus on yourself. Give yourself a small, meaningful reward for milestones. Do that by obviously tracking your progress. So, tools, right? Habit trackers, apps, monitors, writing it down, piece of paper and pen, and then when you finish it, crumple it, toss it. It's an incredible feeling. It's old school, but it activates so many senses, both by writing it and then the crumpling and then poof. Because to me, subconsciously, it signifies out of sight, out of mind, in the absolute way that it's off my mind. I did it. I'm clean. I'm done. I don't have to worry about this or think about this. Yay. Next. Makes your action items look fun. Now, if you're also wanting a little encouragement, look for an app, let's say, that's going to monitor your streaks, give you a sense of accomplishment. There's apps like Habitica. They're gamifying your progress. So you're going to turn habit building into an engaging and rewarding online experience, if that floats your boat. Again, pen and paper, old school, apps, new school, both if you really want to double down. No wrong answers here. It's personal. That's the point. So look at a clean visualization exercise for yourself. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Close your eyes. Visualize yourself in a month from now. I want you to consistently be practicing. That new habit. How does it feel? What kind of positive changes have you noticed? And give yourself permission. Go down that rabbit hole as deeply and as often as you can to reinforce what you see and feel and make that bridge a little bit easier between where you are and where you want to be. So let's look at some key, let's go recap. Let's recap some reminders, some takeaways, right? Let's look at the three main sections. We're talking about the science of habit formation. We're talking strategies for replacing the bad habits. And then actionable tips for lasting change. So the tips that we just went through: start small. Use those visual cues. Community, right? Accountability and rewards. We all get and turned on by those things. Track your progress. Otherwise, you're rewarding yourself without knowing if you did something or not. And then every time you can use a simple visualization exercise, do it. It's part of that actionable, lasting change. Now, before then, we were also looking at replacing those bad habits with the good ones. Why vacuums don't work, you can't eliminate. Habit stacking, looking at your environmental design. Don't forget that 2-minute rule. We can get in and out of something so quickly just by going in, starting. You might even be finished before those 2 minutes, and you'll still have accomplishment and move forward. That's why right at the beginning we started with, in the science of habit formation, the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward, with little arrows linking them one to the other, right? So dive deeper on your own if you fancy the topic. Know that that's why things like habits are hard to break. Go through and understand that, you've been dieting for 21 minutes. 21 minutes. That's a quick diet. Let's say you've been dieting and working out and fasting and trying to live a whole healthier new you, right? For 21 days. And you're going, what the heck? Why isn't it a habit yet? It might take longer than you think. So that's where I want you to have that. Share with us, share with your community. Get through some of those feelings. Know that your call to action is going to be to pick one habit to work on this week. Use the techniques we just discussed. It's all right here. Know that anytime you need to relive, recapture, get in here, get on, share with us, let us big up your message, let us bring you out to the world. Know that if you're working and if you're a coach, a healer, a therapist, financial advisor, a fellow agency owner, someone who also has a public relations firm, let's all play in the same sandbox. I believe the tide raises all boats, and we might be able to co-brand, white label. We might be able to have so much fun and give referrals. So reach out to me. Let's see where we can play with. Now I want to, before we give you those last actionable items, and just let you know what's coming up for the rest of this week so that you're in and you're on. And we know that when we're talking about 7 days a week, a lot of people get intimidated. You shouldn't. It's rejuvenating you. Remember, the first person who hears anything comes out your mouth is you, because I'm hearing it in my inner voice inside, the good old cranium speaker that we all have inside of us, and at the same time I'm hearing it on the outside, right? So know that I want to make sure that everything I'm saying is positive, and this is an incredibly powerful week. It's week 3 in season 2. I invite you to go back to our networking, go to LinkedIn, the Frequency of Abundance, click groups, binge watch season 1. There's going to be so much advice, and sometimes it takes a couple rounds to hit. These talks are 15, 20, 30 minutes long at most. They're meant to get you in, turn you on, thinking engaged about a topic, leave you with some actionable items, leave you with some homework, because that's part of the accountability of the change. I don't do magic. I can't go willy, 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 and make the new change in you or on you or for you. This is stuff you got to do for you, right? Like nobody can go pee for you. This is you. You got to do this. So, any way we can help, reach out to us. Today was the science behind habit formation. Tomorrow, on Triumphant Tuesdays, we're embracing vulnerability, a path to authenticity. On Winning Wednesdays, we're going to give the impact of gratitude on mental well-being. Thursday, we're really going to go into, on Triumphant Thursday, developing emotional intelligence for leaders. Fearless Friday, stress management techniques for busy professionals. And we get to relax a little bit on the weekend. Not 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to pop in at 1 in the afternoon, let you sleep in a bit. Successful Saturday is going to give you the art of effective communication. And on Soaring Sundays, cultivating a growth mindset. And then we'll be going into our fourth and final week, rounding out season 2, welcoming in the new year. So I invite you to join us on LinkedIn, reach out, join the free group. Reach out to me, see if maybe joining our community helps and makes sense. If you'd like to be on the show. And of course, if you'd like to work and get your message bigged out, thank you. Got a great episode. Blessings, thank you. But let me round it out for you. Now, after we've talked about, this paid message from our sponsor, let's look at one habit this week. Use the techniques we've discussed today. Let me know how it's going. Just by involving one other person, me, lean on me, it will increase the likelihood of you doing whatever the heck it is that you're supposed to be doing so significantly it's not even funny. It's part of the science of habit formation. So connect. Social media, foster community, get that accountability. And I want you to remember, I can't wait to hear about where you're coming from, what are the habits you're building, right? So thank you. You're spending some time with us. We're looking at different ways that it's okay to accept that you maybe aren't 100% everywhere, and that there's some places that are only at 9 out of 10, right? Only. And these are the things that we work with and we work on ourselves on a daily basis. Because we know that 10 out of 10 is impossible. That's when the big guy upstairs takes you back, in my opinion. When you hit 10 out of 10, ta-da! You've become perfected. And then you're really back to the frequency of abundance in an incredibly cosmic way. So I'm not quite interested in 10 out of 10 just yet, in my little analogy. But I don't mind getting close. And I don't mind going from 9 to 9.1 or 9.2. So if you're there and if you are at the level of brand and you want more visibility, more credibility, and more focused target audience, reaching that wider message, reach out to me. I look forward to speaking with you. I'm excited to see you tomorrow. I'm having so much fun in the sun. I'm Natan Rohofsky.